So there you have it. There's the actual alienation industry. The industry that made over $100,000 off of me for sure.
Some of my first memories of my childhood were of my mother telling me that my father didn't love me.
I felt closest to my mom when we were talking crap about my dad.
If I rejected my dad, I felt like I was getting my mom's approval.
Question, do I really know this person? Are they actually who my alienator said they were?
I had this overwhelming sense of having to protect my mom.
In her mind, she truly believes everything she's saying, that my dad was a terrible person all the time.
I did start asking questions, and I did want to fact check.
Hi, and welcome back to the Anti-Alienation Project. I'm Maddie. I talk about all things related to parental alienation here on my project. Last year, I figured out the truth that I had been alienated from my dad for 20 years, and since then, I've been able to truly heal and create a wonderful life for myself. I've also been speaking out about this form of abuse here on my project. If you know about parental alienation, you've probably heard about the PA deniers and something called the alienation industry. And in today's video, I'm going to show you the actual alienation industry, which is profiting off of the childhood abuse and trauma that alienated children are currently experiencing worldwide. PA deniers, third wave feminist activists, and alienators themselves are claiming is the alienation industry is something that is very different than what the actual alienation industry is that exists today. So let's give this a look. As you can see here, according to the alienationindustry.com, it's the dark underbelly of the family court system. It's a lucrative industry. They claim that PA is a debunked concept. What I really want to show you here is an infographic. This is what they claim is the alienation industry, and it is based on the premise that parental alienation doesn't exist. This is their idea of what the alienation industry is, and I do not agree with this. I think that this is fundamentally flawed. Okay, caveat before I begin. Can this happen? Can this specific scenario happen where an abusive parent claims alienation, makes allegations, and the therapist, the court, everybody there believes this ruse and ends up sending the child to a reunification program with their abuser? Can this happen? Is this a possibility? Yes. In very, very few cases, this could potentially happen. Is this the exception or is this the rule? This is the exception, and this is not the true alienation industry. Today, I'm gonna create and propose a new infographic for what the actual alienation industry is and how children are really suffering and being profited off of. Welcome to my classroom. The false alienation industry and the true alienation industry do have one thing in common, and that's that it all begins with the end of the relationship, usually with the divorce or custody dispute. By the end of the relationship, the child has begun to reject their loving parent unjustifiably. Now, whether or not the parents actually end up in family court or if they just do mediation or whatnot, there is usually a lawyer involved, and sometimes the lawyer can be even more detrimental to the child and to their relationship, encouraging the one parent to make false allegations in order to get more custody and child support. They might even encourage their client, which is usually the alienator, to file a bogus restraining order or protective order, or to even induce an actual situation of alleged violence and to get a criminal charge. A lot of times these lawyers, unfortunately, are advising their clients to destroy their partner. And this actually happened with my parents. If you check out my video about the silver bullet divorce, you can get to know more about that. But either way, at this juncture, there's the involvement of a lawyer, and because the child is rejecting their loving parent unjustifiably and usually kind of out of the blue, there's more often than not, a child therapist and or family therapist who gets involved at this point as well. I'm going to use this handy little red marker to write every professional and every person that is going to be exploiting the child's trauma and abuse for profit. Once you have the therapist involved, usually there are a lot of false accusations made or lies that are perpetrated by the child who truly believes the lies. We have the promotion of false allegations here, which is actually similar to the other diagram. Now, in the case that the family does go to family court, at this juncture, we will have the judges come into play, the guardian ad litems. So I'm going to write those in red because they're also missing what's actually going on most of the time, and they're furthering the abuse and the trauma that the child's going through. I'm also going to add psychiatrists too, because often these children are taken to psychiatrists to be put because they're showing signs of anxiety, panic disorders, depression, OCD, eating disorders, a lot of different self-destructive mental health effects. So they're usually put on medication when it would be so much more effective and helpful for the child if the psychiatrist or the therapist or someone along the way, the doctor, would actually take a deeper look and find out what's going on beneath the surface. Let's go ahead and write those in. Quick note, while I have already put lawyers, judges, and guardian ad litems on the board, you have to take into account the entire family court system that also further alienates the child, promotes the alienation. So by this point, things are not looking good for the child. It gets even worse though, if you can believe it. The alienation is pretty much solidified for that child. Now, you might be thinking at this point, okay, that's the end of it, right? Sadly, this is very wrong. In fact, the traumatized child probably will never get well. And actually, they're going to be dealing with a bunch of other physical and mental health effects for a long time until they learn the truth and reconnect with their targeted parent. And studies have shown the impact of having daily psychological abuse and what that does to your brain and how it shrinks your hippocampus and how it causes autoimmune disorders. A child undoubtedly is going to be brought to a doctor who, more often than not, if they don't know about parental alienation and the signs, and if they don't dig deeper, the family doctor will probably miss it too. Not only that, but eating disorders are extremely common. So you can go ahead and add their nutritionists, dietitians. Alienated children also, sadly, often have suicidal ideation, suicidal attempts, drug and alcohol addictions, and a whole wide array of mental health issues. So you can add in their treatment centers, hospitals. Point, you might be wondering, like, what other professionals could possibly be taking advantage of this child? Or maybe not even taking advantage. Maybe they truly don't know parental alienation is going on. Either way, they're making a lot of money off this child. Here's something we don't like to talk about often, but in my research, I've also found that some alienated children, they actually develop conduct disorders, and alienated children can go on to become more likely to commit crimes in some cases. So we have to think about that as well. So in that case, we have to consider juvenile delinquent centers. We have to consider jails and prisons, and also more lawyers now for the child. Now, I'm making this up based on my own experience, the research I've done, based on the dozens of child survivors I've spoken to. If you're a child survivor and you have any professionals to add to this list, please comment down below and let me know. If you're a targeted parent and you have a professional that you think you could add to this list, please comment down below and let me know. This is obviously something I've just thought about and made up myself. It's not a professional thing, so I might be missing people. And at this point, it might be kind of like the end of the road for the child. They just need to figure out the truth and reunite with their parent. But it doesn't end there. This alienation industry, the true alienation industry, it often profits off of targeted parents. That's what I've seen a lot of online. So let's include that as well. So let's address the targeted parents suffering and the people that profit off of the targeted parent. Usually the desperate targeted parent. I mean, who wouldn't be in losing their child who's still alive? Now, I want to make it very clear, that there are a lot of professionals who do amazing work in this field. That being said, there are also a lot of money grabbers in this space. There are even people that I've seen giving really poor advice. There's so many people trying to make money and that are making money in this space off of targeted parents. So there you have it. There's the actual alienation industry. The industry that made over $100,000 off of me for sure. Probably closer, God, to $150,000 off of me alone. All these professionals might not apply to everybody, but this is what truly happens. These are the people who are truly making money off of your alienated child and off of you too, if you're a targeted parent watching. I'm sorry that this is really bleak, but I have to put this out there because the alienation industry that's being promoted online is not the actual alienation industry. Let's go ahead and count the number of professionals here who, in most cases, not only missed the actual child abuse that was going on, but make money often for years, off of this child who could heal if they were just told the truth. Altogether on this chart, we have 15 professionals who will be making money off of personality disordered parent abusing their child and getting away with it. I know that I'm probably missing some, so please leave in the comments what you think about this. What do you think I've gotten right? Do you think I've gotten anything wrong? What am I missing here? Because that's 15 professionals, and this is very common, so this is why I'm doing what I'm doing. It needs to change. This is not okay. That's all for this video, guys. I hope that you got some insight or some knowledge out of my little experiment here with the actual alienation industry. If you have been here watching a few videos, or if this is your first video and you like what I'm doing here, please hit the like button to get it in the algorithm for YouTube for more people to watch it, and go ahead and subscribe to my channel if you'd like. I also have a members program where I do hour-and-a-half long Q&As live, so you can ask me any questions you want live once a month, the first Sunday of every month from 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time to 7:30 Mountain Standard Time. And that's actually coming up next Sunday, so I'm really excited to talk to you guys on a more personal level. I have a lot going on behind the scenes. I've been invited to be on some interviews that are coming up that are really exciting. I just really appreciate your time and your support. I know how devastating parental alienation is. It wrecked my life for a really long time, and I'm really sorry you're going through this. I wish I could give you a magic solution. I wish I could take this away for everyone. I'm really sorry for your children too, if you're a targeted parent watching. For any child survivors watching, you're not alone. I promise you're not alone. I've created a support group for people in our position. If you'd like to join or you're interested in that, please email me at the Anti-Alienation Project at gmail.com. I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.